What up, people? It's Friday. You know what that means. It's time for another Universal Gamer update, and this is my update number 4, or maybe episode number 4, whatever you guys want to call it. Inside this episode is a little bit shallow, but I got some things to touch on and talk about. It's kind of cool, you know, things I've been waiting to talk about. I wanted to make my update early because I wanted to get into one of these topics or whatever, or segments. But anyways, first off, I want to start off by saying one of my good friends on YouTube gave me an idea to use a stopwatch to know how much time I got left to record the YouTube videos and stuff like that, because I was complaining about the numbers are too small on my camera. Don't know why I didn't think about that. It's kind of a no-brainer. So I'm using the app on my Zoom, you know, the stopwatch app. Pretty cool. I can just glance down real quick or just look at my peripheral vision and things of that nature. Also, people have been hitting me up across the head saying that, you know, inside your segments you should put games that's coming out for that month or something like that. Usually when I make my gaming updates, I don't really do, well, here's the games that's coming out for this month and for this week. But, you know, I kind of think it's a pretty cool segment. The reason I never have did that is because I just figured people know what games are coming out these days. But people always hit me up saying you should do that. So I'm going to start doing that. Inside this in particular episode, I'll tell you guys the game is coming out for this month. But after this episode, I'm going to start just telling you guys what games are coming out for the following week. You know, so this is Friday. I'm going to start doing my videos every Friday. That following week, I'm telling you guys what games are coming out for that week, the following week. So with that said, we're going to get into the shallow episode. It's kind of shallow, but it's all good, though. First off, I'm going to talk about another segment I'm actually adding inside this update, or inside me and my boy Far Cry's podcast. It's going to be called TGC, which stands for Top Game Comments, or Top Gaming Comments. Basically, a lot of people leave me comments and stuff. Sometimes I can't get to them, or sometimes it's comments that a lot of people ask me or whatever, and it ties into the same thing, so I'll be answering it on camera inside my update or inside our podcast, whichever way I decide to do it, or maybe both. Our podcast ain't started yet, but it's going to be called Tubecast, basically. It's going to be on YouTube, so it's going to be called Tubecast. So yeah, so TGC. It sounds like something I heard before. TGC. Let me see. Nah, but yeah. So next up, I want to touch on this. This is the main thing I wanted to talk. I wanted to make my gaming update early because of this. Or whatever, but hardest game franchise starters. So the single game that started a franchise, but that was the hardest within its games in that franchise. I got a list of games down here, and I also want you guys to list 2 to 3 games that you think that started a franchise that was very hard. Like that first game that started that franchise was very hard. That's what I want you guys to list. But first, I'm going to give you guys my list. And I do not want you guys saying, well, this game is harder than that game. It's not in particular order. There's only one game that's in order, and that's the last game I'm going to read off. And that's the most single hardest game starter franchise, or franchise starter. That's the hardest to me out of every game that started a franchise. If you know something that's harder, I know there is something that's harder, like Mega Man, which is not on this list because every single Mega Man is hard. Not just the first one, so yeah. Well, here we go. Halo. The first Halo. That game is harder than all the other Halos out there. It's very hard. And at the end, the last 3 missions, the library, oh my God. It gets cheap towards the end of the game and towards the last 3 missions. And I don't see, if somebody beat that game on Legendary, you got my approval. I'll bow down to you in person if I see you in person. I don't see how somebody, because that game didn't have co-op, so I don't see how the hell somebody beat that game. I was playing the game on normal and I was struggling, so I don't see how somebody beat that game on Legendary. That's just ridiculous. But I be playing Call of Duty on Veteran, but damn. Ghost Recon. Ghost Recon. Now I'm not talking about Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. That's not the first one, Ghost Recon. I'm talking about Ghost Recon PS2, or maybe even it started on the PC or PS1 maybe. But I know Ghost Recon from the PS2, the first Ghost Recon or whatever. That game was very tactical, almost more tactical than these other Ghost Recon games. I mean, that was a game, even in the older game, you could pull up the map and send your troops to different places on the map by using the map and stuff like that. That game you had to be tactical inside the single player mode. I'm talking about the single player or whatever. The enemies was hard, dude. You die in just a shot or 2 or whatever. The game was tight though. That game was tight. Like you could upgrade your troops and you felt something for each troop you had, each member of your squad you had. You felt something for it because once they're dead, they're out. They actually had names. They had, you know, you can choose who you want to bring in your squad in each mission, and you can build up their abilities. And once they're dead, they're out. You can't bring them back. So you got to choose somebody else or whatever. And that's what I loved about Ghost Recon. Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear. that game is hard compared to all the other Metal Gear. That game, oh man, fighting against the exosuit and the when you was getting whatchamacallit, I forgot his name. Was it Otacon? Yeah. And you was fighting against the little exosuit, I forget. But man, that was hard. You know, when you're first playing it and like the fighting against the Metal Gear at the end, that was hard. That game was just harder than all the other Metal Gears out there. So we're getting into some more harder ones now. Metroid, the first Metroid, dude, that game was so hard. Like, it wasn't just hard. It's the kind of hard where you don't know where you're going. You're trying to figure out stuff. It's that kind of game where once you find out something, once you figure out something, you felt real good. Like, you felt hella good. It felt good to figure out something inside the game. That's what that game was like, or whatever. That game was like so complex. It didn't have no mini map or nothing. No nothing. You didn't know if you was already there already. The only way you know if just by memory. So what I did when I was younger, I had like four pieces of paper and I drew out a whole map. Each door I went through, like I drew a line, drew like a little square for the door, and then like drew up. And man, that game was like, man, but that's one of the best Metroids out there. That's before I even knew Samus was a girl. If I knew Samus was a girl, man, I'd have been hit that. But yeah, the next one, Super Mario, the first Super Mario. The hardest Mario game to date. No matter what nobody says, the hardest Mario game. No matter what you say, what your mom say, what your girlfriend say, what your brother say, your sister, your uncle, cousin, grandma, don't matter. Super Mario was the hardest game, the first game. And I know you may, well, Super Mario Lost Levels is way harder. Yeah, but it's also Super Mario. It's based off of the first Super Mario game. It's made with the first Super Mario engine. So it's still Super Mario. You know, that was the hardest Mario game. The gravity when platforming wasn't all that high. So, you know, that game was unforgiving. That you get your ass raped inside that game. The little castle where you gotta go in the right places or whatever, or you go just keep on resetting and stuff. Once you got that down packed, though, it wasn't nothing. But still, you know. Next up, Sonic. The very first Sonic on the Sega Genesis. Man, I remember when Sega first came out. Sonic, put Sonic in, turn that Genesis on. Sega! Like, oh my god, that still give me tingling feelings to this day. The little thing roll across, the little Sega thing roll across. Sega! Like, oh man, like every time I used to see that shit. Dun, 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 dun. Man, that's the best Sonic game to this day, dude. The reason why that Sonic game was hard, that was also unforgiving. 3 levels for each zone. So each zone had 3 levels. They took that away because they felt like it was just doing too much. Inside Sonic 2, they took that away. Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. I played all those games, beat them all. With Super Sonic and everything. Got Super Sonic and all the games, beat them all. Sonic 1 was unforgiving. The lava level, man, the sound. I'm trying to find the soundtrack to Sonic 1. It may be worth a lot of money, but I don't care if I don't care about getting it used. I want the sound, the score, the music score in the Sonic was just, man, the lava level music, the freaking Starlight level, that music. Oh man, even the Vegas music. Oh man, but that's one of the hardest. Well, it is the hardest Sonic game ever. No matter what Sonic game you bring up, I want to hear it. Now, #1 hardest game franchise starter in history, in my opinion. I don't care if you bring up. There's a lot of people bring up something that's super crazy. Oh, you played this one game on the Super Nintendo that's super hard, but you know, a game of franchise that's still running hard and long right now, and that I still enjoy to this day, and that I love and adore, is The Legend of Zelda. That is the single most hardest game franchise starter ever. In my opinion, there's no fucking way the average person passed that game without any guide. There's no way. There's only a handful of people to this day that beat that game without getting any help. And another percentage of people beat that game, but it took them like almost a year, even 6 months. That game was hard. Like when you first playing it, you know, it's this little 2D game, you're slicing and dicing with your little sword. But it's, oh man, the last freaking dungeon. Man, it would take it'd take anybody a long ass time to beat that if they didn't know where they were going. Man, I played through like 90, not 90, I ain't gonna lie. Let me see, 58% of the game until I tried to look at guides and stuff, and I looked at a couple of guides, a couple of hints and stuff like that, and then that's how I beat the game. I'm not gonna lie, the game was hard as hell. So with that said, I'm talking about the games coming out for this month. Okay, for the month of July. First off, we got Catherine for the PS3. Now, I'm not going to go into any game detail because, you know, I'm already running at 10 minutes right now and I don't want to, you know, waste a lot of time. NCAA Football 12 from Dust for the Xbox 360. We got Call of, let me see, that's the right one? Yeah. Call of Juarez for the PS3 and 360. We got Bastion. We got Captain America. Torchlight 2 for PC. Fallout New Vegas. Downloadable content. El Shaddai. I think I said that right. We got Miss Pac-Man. Miss Explosion Man. We got Pac-Man and Galaga Dimensions for the 3DS. Got Harry Potter. What's that? Something for the PC. Something Canyon. Warhammer 40K. For I think it's for PS3, 360, I think PC also. We got wait, what? Oh, that's August. Never mind. I'm reading something. Okay, July. We got Panzer Corps, Titanic Mystery, Auto Club for PC. Auto Club Revolution. That's for PC and game consoles also. Lucius Fury, Boulder Dash XLT, or Dash, Boulder Dash XLT, and I'm not gonna suck at this. For the DS, we got Match 3 Madness. I should have wrote this stuff down so I don't have to worry about scrolling through and looking at each one. The Smurf Dance Party for the Wii. The Smurfs for the DS. I'm gonna leave it at that. The rest are just like, yeah, because I don't want to run this video long. But you know, even after this video, my next gaming update, I'm gonna give you guys the games that's coming out for that week anyway. So you know, you're not really missing out on anything if I don't give you guys all the games coming out for this month inside this video. So with that said, people, it's been a good episode. Kind of shallow, but hopefully I pick that up inside the next episode and have something to talk to you guys about. Also, my reviews coming up. My Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon reviews coming up soon, so look out for that probably in the next 3 days, 2 days. And also look out for my my collections video coming up. You know, I'm coming out with today, so that's gonna be up today. Collections video, my Game Informers and strategy guides and stuff like that. So with that said, excuse me, this is Vinny Boy Noob Sidebot, and I'm out. Peace.